Hi, James here, and welcome to my office hours part 2. I've made a list. So, what is this? Essentially, it is a video version of questions and more that arrive in the office. And quite frankly, it's early in the semester, and I'm really not getting a lot of office hour traffic. Now, the office hour traffic is virtual. I get it. It's a little bit different than sort of walking down the hallway and knocking on the door and asking if, do you have a few minutes? But truly, whether it's at the end of the class or physically making that appointment to have a few office hours, it's probably a good idea. Really. What I'm doing here in the virtual office hours, just having a chat, just sharing some observations from the week and, bringing it all together. As you may or may not know, I'm teaching 5 courses this semester. It's quite a few. And I will be honest, whether I'm teaching my public speaking course, whether I'm teaching my interpersonal course, whether I'm teaching my criticism course, or whether I am teaching the media ethics and law course, I teach 2 public speaking courses. So whether I'm teaching any of those courses, the overlap becomes pretty extensive. And it really is a good idea, not just for me, but for anyone that you're sending emails to make sure in your subject line you clearly identify what the email has to do with. So it's not just, I don't understand. It's, name, ID, course number, and then in the body of that email, make it clear what's going on, what the issue is, what you're concerned with. And I think that's really important from an identification point of view. From my point of view, I got 5 courses. So if someone just writes in their name, let's use the name Fatma. I'm looking at this and going, Fatma has an issue with her quiz. Well, I have 5 courses with 5 quizzes. I might have 5 courses with varying Fatmas. I don't remember all of the Fatmas with the family names, etc. from all of my 5 courses. So now I've got to go through each course and take a look. It's a waste of my time, quite frankly. So let me know who you are. And I think this is a great practice for anyone. Just identify yourself. I think it really, really makes the communication process work better. The second point, this has to do with emails and how we send them to everyone, whether we're doing, the classic email to our employer or with our students, an email that you're just knocking off because you need something. Be nice. Now, I want to remind everyone about the fundamentals of email and communication. I know, you're thinking, this is a no-brainer, James. I've been communicating with emails since since the form of communication of emailing was invented. Just a gentle nudge of a reminder. Email is a one-way form of communication, and it really encompasses one type of communication, words. And when you're encoding your message of words, your hope is that I decode the message of words the same way that you encoded them. I don't have the benefit of knowing what your mood is as you write. I don't have the benefit of knowing if you're writing in jest and smiling or if you're angry, unless you put some brackets in and you give me that context. The reason I say this is it is so easy to write a short, sweet, curt email that could be easily misinterpreted. Be nice. Be nice when you're writing emails. Remember that people you're writing emails to, like me, might have 5 different courses, might have 3 or 4 committee assignments, might have some service activities they're doing. People in general are busy. So when you're writing emails, remember, they can be misinterpreted. And what you might write in jest, what you might write thinking is being nice, could be interpreted as being aggressive, mean, angry, passive-aggressive, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So simply keep in mind, be nice. Be nice. And look, if you really got an issue with someone, if you really got an issue with something, get on the phone. You know what? Send a voice message. Get on Vidyard, go look it up. Get on Vidyard and send a video message. I mean, come on. It's you and I need to do our best to make sure that when we're sending these email messages that we've really truly included as much information, not just in the words, but with our voice and with our look, etc., so that the person who is unpacking it gets what's being said. Just be nice. Like really, 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 just be nice. What does it cost you? And I think if everyone's just a little nicer to each other, we're in the COVID learning experience. Everyone is overburdened with work. Everyone is overburdened trying to figure out how to make this learning process work. Parents are trying to figure out how they're going to work and educate and really take up their role in part of that education process. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. It's really easy for us to just sort of lose it a little bit and vent on the wrong person. Be nice. Remember, in the words of Steve Blake, what goes around comes around. What goes around comes around. Yeah, all right. Another important thing, backup. Back up your work. I am absolutely amazed even today the number of people who aren't using, a Google Drive, a Thumb Drive, a Dropbox Drive to back up their work. But it gets even more important in this day and age, especially in my classes. I'm using Blackboard. I'm using Blackboard for quizzes. I'm using Blackboard for assignments. And if you're doing a quiz, for example, in my class, make sure you're inputting the stuff. There's a time limit. Make sure that you're not past the time. And also make sure as you're loading in that work, take a screenshot. So not only should you really be typing the work into Blackboard as you're doing it, but take a screenshot as you're submitting to make sure you've got a backup in case something goes wrong. In case you're, as I find, too many people are doing their work on the side and then they're loading it in right at the last second, miss that deadline, it gets submitted without it. So make sure you've got that backup so that you got yourself covered. And then when you're sending that note to that professor or that person who's grading the work, be nice and say, hey, look, I really did submit my work. Here's the copy of it as I was putting it in. I guess it was right at the limit. Sorry about that. Would you mind at least taking a look to consider it? Be nice. Be nice. Really. But make sure you're backing stuff up. And we are absolutely living in an age right now where your router, your Wi-Fi, all of these things can be an issue. Make sure you've got data on your phone so that you can tether your computer. Make sure you've got data so that you can actually enter sites, in my case, like Blackboard, with your computer. You need to have backups, and you need to be thinking in terms of a backup. If you're not, what are you thinking? I mean, why would we leave anything to chance? Don't. Have that backup. It just makes sense. Screenshots, mention that. Take screenshots of your work. Just keep them as a security blanket so that you know what's going on. And you will be happy and I will be happy. So backups, screenshots, etc. Hey, this is a really important one. And I think a lot of us are getting lulled into a false sense of economy when it comes to doing work in classes. A false sense of economy. So what's that false sense of economy? The false sense of economy is that, I'm online, I'm at home, work is being posted up, and it's being recorded in a Zoom that I'm participating in. So, do I need to do the readings? Do I really need to read the work? Do I need to engage? Do I need to do the extra stuff? And I personally am getting the feeling at 5 weeks into my classes that many students are not doing the work. They're being lulled into this false sense of economy. And that false sense of economy in that, hey, I've got a lot of time. I'm going to use my time in other ways. And the work will just come to me and I can go later and I can listen and I can watch. No, No, you need to do the readings and the work when they're being assigned so that you have that cumulative build. So you have the time for it to ripple into your mind so that you can ask the questions now, not later when it's too late because you've got more and more and more and more work that's been scaffolded and stacked together. So do the work when it's being assigned. Hey, let's be 100% honest. What is it that school is trying to teach you anyway? Sure, we're trying to teach you about math and science, and we're trying to teach you, in my case, about communication law and ethics and how to speak and how to criticize and how to analyze. Could you probably go and get the texts or take a Coursera or some other course online, self-directed, and get the same material? Probably. Are you going to get the same interaction that you're getting with me? No. But in the larger scheme of things, you could go take a course online. You're not going to get the credit from me and from towards your degree, but you could do it. What we're working to make you better at in education, and this is top tier, the large picture, the macro vision, is we're teaching you how to organize and use your time. We're teaching you how to organize your day. We're teaching you how to organize your learning experience. And we're teaching you how to use your time and budget your time when you've got 5, 6 courses that are eating away at your brain space. That's what we're trying to do. So you've got to be economical, and you've got to start doing the work, and you've got to start planning it out. I keep saying this over and over and over again to people, and what do? They leave it right to the dead end. The work is then only this good. What's missing is the analysis, the ability to pull things together. So that becomes really important. Do the work. Get out there, do the work. There is no shortcut to all this. Do the work. And I think everyone is happier. I've got a list. That's what I keep looking at. Ask questions. I am still amazed that my students, I've got a few that ask questions, but generally speaking, no questions. Like, okay, I might be really good at explaining things, but I'm not that good at explaining things. So ask the questions so that we can go back over things. And I keep saying this, no question is a dumb question. There really is no such thing as a dumb question. Ask your questions. Bring an example to it and show what you're thinking and why you're thinking it. Really, really important stuff. And you need to be engaged. And that kind of fires back to doing your work, and that kind of fires back to the whole process. It's, if you're not asking questions, and hold on, it's no different online than offline, because in a regular class that I would teach, I didn't get a bunch of hands going up. Sir, I've got a question. There might be one or two. There might be a student that would walk in to the office hours near the end. There might be a whole bunch that stick around after class, which probably makes sense of the place to have office hours. And if I was advising any school, create a much larger buffer between those class times. So like a half an hour buffer between class rotations so that students can literally come and ask questions and ask the professor at that point things. Because I think in many cases, and University Affairs, the Canadian Journal magazine for universities, actually had an article recently about that. Really worth taking a look at. Another thing. We're go, 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 go. You need to have downtime. You need to have downtime. And that downtime is really important. Do some yoga, go for a walk, read a book that's not school related. Even if it's only 10, 15 minutes, you got to do it. Watch a little Marty Schwartz. Hold on, I'm not going anywhere. Watch a little Marty Schwartz and see if you can't, just get a little bit of a groove on, get a little bit of Marty Schwartz going. Oh, sorry about that. Get a little bit of Marty Schwartz and see if you can't learn how to play guitar. A little bit of Marty and hey, that's not bad. It's just one note. It's just one note. That's it, one chord. Oh, that didn't sound so good. But the point being, you got to relax. You got to do something that's a little bit different. You got to get yourself out of the education zone, out of your comfort zone a little bit. And if that means doing a little Marty Schwartz, it's funny because I do call him Marty Schwartz because it's on YouTube. Go and check out Marty Schwartz. He's funny. And if it helps you, just relax. Get your mind out of your regular groove. I'm no guitar player. But I got to tell you, when I'm sitting there and I'm just going through some notes and learning how to play a few chords and a few strum patterns, you're learning how to do that. I'm not even playing any songs, but you're learning how to do that. It's amazing how that makes you feel. So the point being, you got to relax every now and then. Let me just get this guitar out of the way. You got to relax now and then. You got to do some other things. Maybe it's Marty Schwartz. Maybe it's some yoga. Maybe it's something. So office hours, this for today. This is office hours number 2. What's the core messages that I threw out here today? And by all means, if you got a question you want to fire into the professor, that's me, Professor James. James@thejamescast.com. James@thejamescast.com. Happy to answer any questions. You got a question about communication, you got a question about learning, you got a question about studying, you just got a question. You want to talk about kombucha, you want to talk about guitar, you want to talk about music, you want to talk about films, you want to talk about podcasting, drop me a line. So what were the messages from today's office hours? Be nice. Be nice. Number 2, back things up. Back things up. Take screenshots of your work. Do the work. Engage. It's not just going to sink into your head. Be present. As I always say to my students, I'm giving you 100%, but that's only half of what we're doing. This is not a monologue James show, although most of the time it appears like that. A good class requires the participation of you, not just me. So do the work, ask questions, and find a way to relax. There we go. Office hours number 2. If you got any questions, fire them at me, james@thejamescast.com, and we'll be back with office hours number 3 before too long. I'm a professor at Zayed University in Dubai, College of Communication and Media Sciences. Class is coming up. We've got a full load on board today. And thank you very much. We'll talk to you again soon. James, out.